Krishna. So Nrsingadev is very nice for the devotees. For the demons he is frightening. In the Bhagavatam, let's see here, what is this one? Verse 20, how did that come out? In the Bhagavatam, Nrsingadev is mentioned sometimes. In the first canto about the incarnation of the Lord. In the 5th canto where Prahlada Maharaj, where the inhabitants of Jambudvip is presenting their prayers to the Lord. So where Prahlad Maharaj is reciting, they're having a prayer for Nrsingadev. And then we have in the 7th canto, where there's a full story unfolds about Nrsingadev, about Hiranyakashipu, and how he tormented his son Prahlad Maharaj, and how Nrsingadev came. Let's start here with the 1st canto, chapter 3, verse 18. Caturdasam Narasingam Bibradai Chandramurjitam Tadara Karajai Urav Erakam Katakridyatam. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Nrsinga and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane. There was in this prayer we say to Nrsingadev, there's also mention about Nrsingadev's strong nails and how he with them ripped apart Hiranyakashipu. Okay. So Nrsingadev, yes, we may think our demon-like desires are strong, but Nrsingadev's nails are stronger. Because we maybe don't want to have a heart operation too eagerly. I guess we may be willing to let Nrsingadev remove our demon-like desires as described in the 5th canto. Our demon-like desires for fruitive activities, he says there. So Nrsingadev has strong nails. He fulfilled his promises to protect his devotees. In the prayers we chant to Nrsingadev also there is this Bahir Nishringo, Hiradi Nishringo. That Nrsingadev is outside, Bahir Nishringo, Hiradi Nishringo, and he's inside. Rida I think means heart. He's outside and he's also in the heart of the devotees, or maybe of the demons also. Nishingamadim Saranam Prapade, and to him I pay my obeisances, pay my dandabats. To this Nrsingadev, who is outside and inside, is everywhere. And then we have this in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya Suranam Vinashaya Suduskritam. So Krishna says, that he descends whenever there is a, okay, that's the verse before. Whenever there is increase in irreligion, then and irreligious principles, then he comes to re-establish religious principles. So to protect the devotees, the sadhus, annihilate the miscreants, and re-establish the religious principles. So that we can say is twofold function: protect the sadhus and annihilate the miscreants comes there also. So we can also say then, as nowadays the demons are living in our heart, so it comes here to take away the bad and protect the, and not only taking away the bad, but protecting the good. Whatever good there is of devotion to Krishna, good qualities of devotion, and the good qualities born out of devotion to Krishna, Nrsingadev will protect. Because that is also in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 22, where it says that those who meditate on something like with intention, who seriously meditate upon the Lord, for him he carries what they lack and preserves what they have. So one sec, there's the point is that preserves, and then one explanation is that they preserve what's good in us, the good qualities of our progress is protected by the Lord, so it's not vanquished. Whereas the bad is taken away. So in that way, let's see here. No. Fine. Okay, so Krishna protects in his way. Of course, we like to have someone who protects us from the external dangers. And that, well, we take it, there is external dangers also. At least there was. Maybe there still is. But then again, if you have a traitor within the defense system, that's much worse. If you have a traitor, someone who spies on the enemies and gives the enemies information where your weak point is so they can attack. So we have some traitors. You may have some traitors, some demons within, yes, that's a weak point. Maya, come here. So there's Maya, because Maya, she is actually, doing a good job. As you know, Maya does a good job of keeping nonsense away from Krishna. Yes, I want to be close to Krishna. But of course, the other day, only 5% of ISKCON's members actually want to go back to Godhead. Someone said. A kind of self-regulating principle, Don't want to impose themselves. Well, actually, coming to an honest estimation of themselves, concluding that that's not the right place for me. Okay. So we may have traitors, demons within, of course. Then there's a sixth. Let's see. I'm trying to get this here. Prayers offered by the residents of Jambudvip. Okay, let's see if I get it together. Let's see if sorry. Okay, yeah, there, I'll find it. Okay. At least I found something. Yes, if you want to read it, there is prayers. Well, there is. Sukadeva Swami says, this is Jambudvip. Our dear King, Lord Nrsingadev resides in the tract of land known as Harivarsha. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Nrsingadev. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is the reservoir of all the good qualities of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of his demonic family. Lord Nrsingadev is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsha, worships Lord Nrsingadev by chanting the following mantra. And that is a nice little prayer. in the 5th canto. Om Namo Bhagavate Narashingaya Namaste Tejas Tejas Avir Avir Bhava Vadra Nakya Vadra Damstra Karmasa Yandrandaya Randaya Tamo Grasa Grasa Om Swaha Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuyasta Om Shtram. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nishingadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth, just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. So it's a nice little prayer. So again, he's the source of all power. Because then we can say, well, I want to be powerful. Well, actually, the Kshatriyas of the old time, they actually was quite fond of worshipping Nishingadev, as far as I've heard. They liked him. Kshatriya mood, fighting mood. Krishna is a fighting mood. Of course, Krishna, he fought also. He liked the fighting. Sometimes devotees like to fight also. We get into fighting mood to establish what is right. What's the right way to preach or something, and then we start to fight with each other. Okay, in any case, yes. So the Kshatriyas, okay, well, why not worship Nishingadev, the source of all power? His source of power, nails and teeth just like thunderbolts. Again, they are very strong. Thunderbolts, today we had some thunderbolts, I don't know, not too close by here, but in any case, thunderbolts can hit, because they may split a tree or something, like that. But then he doesn't ask, please kill me. In this prayer, there's other prayers to Lord Nishingadev you can pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Maha Nishingaya. Remember, that's the beginning. And then there's, please, what? Destroy my enemies, or my antagonists, or like that. That's this kind of prayers. But here doesn't ask for that. He doesn't ask, please destroy the demigods, my enemies, because Prahlad Maharaj is a devotee, so he don't think badly about the demigods. His fathers did that. But he doesn't ask to kill those out there. He asked, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Because our problem is, we want to enjoy in this world, because that's a problem. That's a real problem. Because if we actually wanted to come back to God, no problem. But because we have the desire, and Krishna is very kind and is in our heart, so he fulfills our desires. So yes, you want to stay here, no problem. You can stay. So please, Krishna, take away my demon-like desires for fruitive activity or for material enjoyment. Because still we enjoy seeing the sun and the moon and the ocean and I don't know what more, nature and things like that. In one way, there is some enjoyment, but actually the goal is to serve Krishna and come back to God. Is in one sense leaving the demon-like desires. Krishna, Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, he also asked, why is it? He put that question, why is it? Even though I know what is right, still I do what is wrong. Even though I know that ice cream is not good for me, it is offered to Krishna, given to me, I can't help taking it. We are dictated by whatever, a desire for. Well, that's a minor problem maybe. In any case, Arjuna asks, why is it even though I know what is right, I still do the wrong? So then Krishna says, well, it's lust, the all-devouring sinful enemy of the living entity, who has to be overcome even from the very beginning of the spiritual path. So this, the desire for material enjoyment, or for fruitive, it says it's fruitive activity. Okay, I'm going to do something and I'm going to get something. And then I'm going to be happy. Okay, I'm going to drive away it. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. Well, that sounds quite nice. Drive away our ignorance. Ignorance makes us fearful. How is it going to go? What's going to happen? How am I going to manage this? So, what is my enemy going to do? But the fear, when ignorance is gone, we may then become fearless. And then we may, it then looks in this prayer that we may have to still do some struggle in this world. But we don't need to fear anything. That's a nice point, you know. You will not get out of this world so easy. I say so easy. Oh yes, I thought when I joined that 3 years is enough. Then I will have wings on my shoulder and fly away. Mystic powers or something. That's the idea like that. Then the temple president said, this was in connection with my temple president, who said that we chant Hare Krishna a few years. So I thought to myself, yes, I'm 3-4 years. And then I'm going to be perfect, you know. Then he said, we chant some 50-60 years. I thought, no. For the rest of my life. Yes, for the rest of your life. Not just this life. Life after life. Now that's the difference. This is, you know, the rest of our life, life after life, that is our demon-like desires. They will have us to come back life after life, working hard in the factories and the offices and in the, what do they call it, treadmills, I think that's the expression, treadmills. I don't know exactly what it is in English, but in Swedish it makes me think of in the mines, that is that a big wheel, and then the people were walking in the wheel, and that way they were kind of pulling up the iron ore from the ground. The treadmills, you can work for the rest of your life after life. Now, we don't chant Hare Krishna in that way. We chant Hare Krishna with happiness, we hope. Because happily chant Hare Krishna, happily serve Krishna together, forever. Okay, what happened? Oh, okay, it was something. Okay. So, but to be fearless, there may be some struggle, okay? Okay, the point was you don't get away so easy. So we want to have a quick fix of all problems. But it doesn't seem to work that way, exactly, not to me at least. Maybe for you, okay. You just chant Hare Krishna. No, you know, you have to do your job, so to say. But the point is, when the ignorance is gone, we may become fearless. We can struggle, but without fear. So now, to do our job or service or business in this world, we can do it without fear, depending on Nishingadev, that our fruitive mentality is gone, our ignorance is gone, our bodily, say, concept of life. And then we can fearlessly struggle. Well, do our duties or do our activities for the sake of progressing in Krishna consciousness without fear. Okay, I want to check here. Then the prayer, there's a few verses. It says, Prahlad and his associates there, in glorification of the Lord, says like this: may there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. That sounds good. good fortune throughout the universe. The devotees want good for the world. Of course, it sounds like that, at least. Even though we may think that, this is a useless world, it's bad. But no, here actually is desiring good for the world. So devotees have a good heart, so they want there should be good things. But then, and may all envious persons be pacified. Because I may wonder how an envious person can be pacified. But still, may they be pacified, may their envy go away. That's like, we may have everything very nice, but the neighbors happens to have it even better, it looks like. And then we can't be happy. A little bit we could say that was Duryodhana. Yes. He could have lived happy, Yeah, you take your part of the kingdom, I have my part of the kingdom. Actually, they shared the kingdom for a while. They cut it in half or something. Of course, he gave the worst part to the Pandavas, took the best part himself. But then the Pandavas, because of the piety and everything, they created such a wonderful kingdom. So now Duryodhana could just have said, oh, very nice. Yeah, and I have a nice kingdom also. But now they have even a nicer kingdom than me. This is not good. And what was it? A nicer assembly, such a nice assembly hall. And the assembly hall was really far off. Of course, it really provoked Duryodhana's anger or envy in a way. But the point is, he could have just said, yes, they have to have a generous heart and say, okay, wonderful, you have created such a nice kingdom, well, okay, good. Now, then we have the envy. I'm going to give them, I'm going to get that also, or something like that. You're not satisfied, you can say the envy causes you not to be satisfied with what you have, it looks like. And if you're not satisfied with what you have, you will never be satisfied. That's the teaching of Vamadeva. So whatever you have, be happy with it. Heavy. Then you will always have enough. You may be homeless on the street, but if you're happy with that, what's the problem? And the homeless, Krishna supplies the ants, so why not the homeless on the street? Okay. And that was Vamadevi said. What did he say? Yeah, Bali Maharaj offered him, please, what do you want? Take whatever you want. I'm the king of the universe. Okay, you can have a whole, I don't know if he offered the whole planet, but at least a town or village or everything. I said, well, I just want 3 steps of land. Of course, that was a trick. Just see Vamadev, it's so tricky. So Nishingadev was a trick, Comes as half man, half lion, with strong, what is it called? Fingernails. I don't know. Lions don't have fingernails. I don't know what they have. Claws. I think fingernails, claws. So he comes this way and he always tricks, Hiranyakashipu, he had a blessing, what his blessing was. He wasn't be killed by this, not by that, and not here, and not there, and not in the morning, not in the night, and not I don't know when. Not in the air, and not in the land. Whatever possible, it's almost perfect, practically speaking, perfect protection. I can be fearless because I have all these boons. But then Nishingadev is so smart, Krishna is so smart, he comes as Nishingadev, where he can bypass, and then he kills him on his lap in the doorway. He is not inside and not outside, because that he also says, I shouldn't die inside and shouldn't die outside either. That's perfect, but just in the doorway, just in the dawn, the sun has just set, so it's neither day and neither night, and there's no weapons, it's just the claws, and the claws They're neither living nor dead. Because we wasn't to be killed by the living or the dead, or dead material. But they fingernails, well, are they living or are they dead?
Something in between.
Yeah, somewhere in between. So Krishna is so tricky. Just watch out. I have a waterproof system here for becoming Krishna conscious. They're going to trick Krishna. we can't trick Krishna, but Krishna can trick us. I'm going to avoid Krishna. I'm not going to get Krishna. This Krishna is not going to get me. Okay, at least said Krishna's name 3 times. Okay, so Vamandev, there comes Vamandev. Bali Maharaj had conquered the whole universe, and now it's the king of the universe. And then Vamandev comes, the Lord comes in the form of Vamandev as a trick. Because he again has to use trick. Can't be straightforward. Well, in any case. So then he asked, just give me 3 steps of land. What's the wife? You're just a young brahmachari. You don't understand. You don't understand. What was it? You didn't understand, how to enjoy life or something, how to benefit. I'm offering you so much, and you're just asking 3 steps of land. You're not very mature or progressed in life. Poor boy. You don't know what to ask for. And I can give you some. No, it's okay. Then he says, but he's smart. Vamandev is smarter. He says that, if you're not satisfied with 3 steps of land, you're never satisfied. That's a hard one. Krishna, only 3 steps. And then 3 steps of land is as much as you need to put out your sleeping bag. A sleeping mattress and a sleeping bag, that's all. So maybe the happiest of the brahmacharis. Maybe brahmacharis, I'm not quite sure. But the brahmacharis, that's happily serving, distributing, chanting. You don't have to worry too much about anything, because the only thing to worry about is to find the 3 steps of land. And usually it's quite often or easy, available somewhere, in some temple, or some house you can ask. So in that way, if you're satisfied with what you have, you will always have enough. Of course, if you're satisfied with what you have, it will increase. That's a problem. You end up having too much things, getting so much donations, and I should share something. You have to keep it going, but okay. So even envious persons may be pacified, so that we need to give up our envy and be satisfied with what you have. That's what's a challenge, to be satisfied with what I have and what I am as a devotee of the Lord. As we can also, that's a modern philosophy, is that we should make progress. We should make progress back to Godhead. That progress, we should make spiritual progress. But then it's like the modern is that we should make material progress. And then of course I got a problem, okay. A big problem. I have a house. And then they kindly wanted to... In any case, it's a problem from the beginning. I just need something small, but said, no, but Maharaj, we have a permission to make a little bit bigger here, we'll make it a little bit. So that's, instead of getting a small cottage, you get a little bit bigger cottage, okay, the first problem. And then they say, it goes like the story in the Bhagavatam, okay, or somewhere, I'm sorry. I have to downgrade my house of living. Okay, the point was, then they said, yes, but we're going to put extra insulation on the outside of the house so it keeps warmer. Okay. But then they put extra insulation on the outside of the house. I'm sorry, sounds irrelevant, but the point is that then Then the mouse found a way into the house. Okay. So I'm saying, well, you can just borrow a cat. then it's also okay, this sounds familiar, this story. And you need a cow, and okay. Watch out. But so one has to be satisfied with what you have, or be satisfied with little in a way. Little and little. Okay, not be envious, and not aspire for more. In any case, that the Isha says very nicely, one has the right to take what you have. Knowing to whom everything belongs, who is the owner and control of everything, you may take what you need, but not more, because then you're a thief. Okay. So to be satisfied what we need, a little bit we need, and what we have, and chant Hare Krishna peacefully. And then it says with a prayer, may all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. That's an interesting statement. Nice verse. Devotional service. By devotional service we become calm, because by accepting devotional service they will think of each other's welfare. That's a nice thing. We engage in devotional service, we think more than of just ourselves. Because then we think spiritually. Of course, the spiritual take care of the spirit, so to say. And maybe, of course, we can say maybe that is the most important in one sense, because we may take care of so many things. But if we miss a spiritual point, then we lost the whole thing, so to say. Sometimes, I don't know, and some small. Mother Teresa in Calcutta, well, she was, I think, whatever, someone. But actually, it was interesting. She would try to take care of these people when they died, and as far as I understood, that she was willing to facilitate them in whatever way, whatever mantra or prayer from their religion they came willing to, okay. So in that way, not just taking care of themselves, but also so that they could pass on according to their religion or their tradition in a way for the spiritual benefit. Just, you care, but also care for the spiritual life. So the devotees, that was nice, will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Shri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Because we're thinking of Krishna, we engage in the service of Krishna, and we remain absorbed in thoughts of Him. We will also think of the good of others. We will not be envious, and we will think, we'll be willing to help others. So we will think in a constructive way. Okay, here's a heavy one for us attached to. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life. Trying to be positive here, but sorry. Consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees, whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. Maybe it explains it. Well, it's so difficult, struggling. Too attached to material things. Well, that's the answer. That's the statement in this verse. Yeah. These are Prahlad Maharaj's prayers to Nrsimhadev. So let's see. Even though Prahlad Maharaj, keep this in mind, I just argument here. Prahlad Maharaj prays these things, even though he's a king, he's a family man. He's not a renunciate, still he prays like this. So there's this Krishna consciousness is like two things going on at the same time. On one hand, they're like focused on the devotional service, and in a spirit of renunciation. At the same time, they manage to live in the world as a king, as a family man. Okay, he says, well, maybe he gives an advice. By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda is the all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing of them, one immediately associates with the Lord. The activities of the Lord is so potent that by hearing them, one associates with Him. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead in the form of sound vibrations, enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contaminations. On the other hand, all the bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contamination and infections. This process and the process of visiting the holy places can cleanse one's heart, the heart, only after a long time. Therefore, who is a sane man who will not associate with devotees to quickly perfect his life? So we need association of devotees, in association of which we hear about the Lord. So it's very nice with festivals like this, because we all come to hear about the Lord, whether I speak and listen or whatever. It brings us closer. And again, who is a sane man who will not associate with them? That's from Prahlad Maharaj's point of view. A sane person won't associate with the devotees. Of course, then Prabhupada said, well, who is crazy this? The materialist thinks, they're crazy, why not come together and discuss business? Well, fruity mentality. And then for the devotees, it's the opposite way, where they're wasting the time coming together discussing material topics. They take some time, at least take some time and come and hear about Krishna. Okay, not all the time, sometime, daily or weekly. Okay, there's something else. Okay, here's all the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external entity. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? I mean, that's kind of, sometimes we think, but then there's like the statements of the Bhagavatam. And he said, just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, His greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. So it's a warning. At the same time, there is material life, there is household life, there is these things is not taken away, but it's just that putting it in. The goal is, and I think it's nicely, therefore, if someone were very great by material calculations, failed to take shelter of the Supreme Soul. So whether we renunciate on household, we should take shelter of the Supreme Soul by chanting and hearing and whatever. And then we discuss it also a little bit. Not to take shelter of the Supreme Lord and actually have some kind of relationship to the Lord. Therefore, O demons, Prahlad Maharaj is a prayer to the demons. Prahlad Maharaj is praying this and chanting this in the presence of all these demons. They're real demons, we're just small. Therefore, give up the so-called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nrisinghadev, which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of material attachment. Indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of which result in the repetition of birth and death. So in any case, let's see here. Okay, that was the prayers by Prahlad Maharaj. The Prahlad Maharaj who caused our Nrisinghadev to come. Let's say. It's a little bit like Lord Rishabdev praying to his son also. It's quite strong prayer. So this we've come across in the Bhagavatam. So Prahlad Maharaj, because he was just a young boy, because he started his spiritual life already before he took birth. So that is also a lesson. There's family life, there's children, there's pregnancy, there's hearing of the Bhagavatam, and actually the soul, the person there in the womb, even though we don't know, but still they hear, they perceive what's going on around. Even one kind of mundane psychologist I know, his conclusion was that, in any case, we say that it starts already before. We already, we make a choice. Some kind of choice is made for us to take birth somewhere. And then we take birth. Okay, there's already something going on before. And then we don't take birth. We get into the womb. So we say that actually it starts already in a further state. I mean, before impregnation, so to say. Something is going on already. But so this particular, but he had the conclusion that what his observation was that from the very time of conception, we are affected by what goes on in the parent's life, at least, so to say, in the mother's life, like that. So, even though I would say Monday, it's basically, I think it was in one sense an atheist, but by observation and some things like that, he concluded that this was like that. So Prahlad Maharaj is an example of that. He was in he was in the womb. And of course, Narada Muni knew what was going on. So the demigods were so scared. Oh no, the demon Hiranyaka is the biggest demon. He is a child of him. What kind of demon is that going to be? We better kidnap the wife, kill the child, kill the embryo. No, this is big disaster. But Narada Muni knows, no, he is actually a big devotee. And that's also with, the devotees can take birth anywhere, any place, And not bound. And just because we are devotees, it's not necessarily we get the purest devotees as our disciples. Or disciples. Children. Okay, the way things that is out there. My Guru Maharaj is the purest of pure. They think, my disciple, well, I don't think the Gurus think that way. By observation. Yes, my disciples are pure devotees. Okay. We would like it to be as my children, they are pure devotees. So then Krishna very kindly arranged it in such a way that they're not exactly that pure devotees. And that way we're kept a little bit humble and keeping proper perspective of things. And the point was that here is the one who really don't want a pure devotee gets a pure devotee. This is true. Alaukika-prema is like the sworn enemy of Lord Vishnu gets a pure devotee of Lord Vishnu as a son. But of course, then we could say also, well, Alaukika-prema, he was a devotee. I mean, it was a Jai. I think Jai Vijay, Jai. He actually, he just got cursed, so this really hard to see. I mean, what's really going on, Prabhu? Well, there's of course, sometimes, what was that? Vritrasura? He was Chitraketu previously. I think that was Vritrasura. Yeah, Vritrasura, I got the name right. Chitraketu, he was a pure devotee, but even though he was a pure devotee, he traveled around in the airplane with hundreds of, I don't know, his wives or what it was. But then he got cursed, and then he what did happen? He got cursed to take birth as a demon, and he happily accepted the curse. And then he, as a good devotee, he was a good demon. He took it very serious. He said, I'm going to be a demon now. But he remembered. He knew what was going on. But still, he had the unthankful task of being a demon for a life. Of course, at the end of the story, so then we see this big, nasty demon, but actually he's a devotee. And that's really hard to understand this Krishna consciousness. Can't make it easy. No. But of course, and then he's fighting with Indradev, and then Indradev get loses faith or hope or whatever. But then the Vritrasura is without arms, and he had to lie there, and we see in the picture he was lying on his stomach, like telling him, hey, shape up. What do you think? They're supposed to be a devotee, Do your job, kill me. Do me the favor. Don't be a coward. Don't lose hope or the spirit. So the demon preached to the devotee. Actually, the demon was also a devotee, and then Indra could understand. Then Indra, his unthankful thing of being, as I say, a materially tinged devotee, because he then realizes that the demon who is fighting is actually a devotee, and that devotee he has to kill. Such a sad thing. Okay, he had to do his job. Okay, so Prahlad Maharaj took his birth, and he was already a spirit of devotion was already in his heart due to his association with Narada Muni even before his birth. And then he took birth, and he he became a great devotee, and he became the cause of the death of Hiranyakashipu, because Hiranyakashipu ends up wanting to kill him, and then Nishingadev comes and says, "Stop, I killed you, and I'm going to, in spite of all your blessings, I'm going to get you." And we can also Nishingadev as the manifestation of the Lord's anger. We also know then Nishingadev kills Hiranyakashipu. And then Nishingadev is very angry. He's in an angry mood. And the demigods, they try to go up and appease him, with some prayers, but they hardly dare to get close to him. And then they think, okay, let's send Prahlad Maharaj. He's the cause of his appearance. It's so full. But then this little boy comes there, pure devotee. Of course, that was why Nishingadev came, to protect his devotee. And he became appeased. Then he became peaceful and happy. First he had one problem, Hiranyakashipu, then the Lord appears in a very angry mood, and then almost that becomes a problem. How to deal with this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this angry mood. That's something like if Prabhupada would become angry, I wasn't qualified to be close to him. I heard that he sometimes got angry also. And then to be nearby might not have been so fun. So I'm saying, getting the source with Prabhupada. Oh, you're so lucky, okay. As the Shruti said something. Someone said, "Oh, you got the source, you're lucky." But okay. You don't really want that. Okay, so he is Nishingadev, very angry. But it's appeased by Prahlad Maharaj. And then Nishingadev resides there in that Jambudvip Varsha where Prahlad Maharaj is, and they have these beautiful prayers as we read here. You're going to make an offering now. Okay, and then there is Arctic. Okay. May I ask, is there any questions or comments? Maybe further about Nishingadev, We know, how was it, Nishingadev? Because this is a bewildering thing sometimes. I think there was put a question today. This happened somewhere in the higher realms of the universe. What?
In Indraloka.
Indraloka. At the same time we have this Ahovalam in South India where there's a pillar where the remnants. But then we also have in Mayapur, or there, Navadvip Mandal, there's also a place where I think there's a lake when Nishingadev came and washed his hands.
Singapali.
Nishingapali. So it's kind of different places coming a little bit here and there. That at least are associated with the Lord and His activities. And there we go and remember the Lord's pastimes. And by remembering the Lord's pastimes, there we have the association of the Lord. So this is the way Krishna arranges things. Okay. Any more question or comment? So I don't know if I have something more to add. We have good time. 2:38. I think the sun has set. Krishna, Nishingadev should have his offering. We greet him, welcome. We greet the great personalities, welcome. The pure devotees, maybe even in some way, or the good devotees, pure devotees, the good devotees, or the Lord Himself. So we worship, offering a seat, washing their feet, hands from the face, Achman, maybe Madhuparka, Achman, a bath, oil, a bath, and then today we have a bath, so we have bath not just with water, with all different wonderful substances. And then the Lord is nicely dried and dressed, and then He takes something to eat after the shower. And then there's Arctic, and then it's as a complete. Then the Lord can take His rest, and the devotees can take the prasad. Okay. Maybe we can make some bhajan. Well, if there's someone else, or another question or comment, yes.
It's not directly connected to Nishingadev, but in the beginning of the class you mentioned how the demons are also present in us, so we have a good and bad qualities. And I heard that many times. Do you know actually the reference for that?
Not really. No, my only reference is devotees have said like that.
Oh.
Because that's a self-perpetuating. But we can definitely see like that. There was definitely a time when the demons had their place, and the demigods lived. I don't know, I suppose it's still in that way, in the one way, but then the planet Earth, you understand, is a little bit of a battleground between the demigods and demons. Who is going to control the Earth? So sometimes there are demons, like now in Kali Yuga, takes over, so to say. So we have good and bad on this planet Earth. Then we get Kali Yuga. And previous to the Kali Yuga, people were more pure-hearted, how should we say? They were good qualities. But then Kali Yuga enters, and then this nasty quality starts to manifest more in the people of the earth. So that is certainly, we can say, so to say, happening. With the progression, we can say, this statement then would be relevant in relationship with the progression of the yugas. Because in the Satya Yuga, the humans are just sitting down and meditating, basically speaking, just, but they very much just sit down and meditates, and they're Paramahamsas. And then you get Treta Yuga, where you start to have towns, and you have to have a civilization. You have the laws, you have Varnashram introduced in order to regulate the human society. And then you have Dvapara Yuga, another further progression goes on. And then you get to Kali Yuga, and then it really gets bad. So there we really have good and bad. It's, because then it comes next Satya Yuga after a short while, only some 420,000 years. Kali Yuga is only 1/10 of the total cycle, 4 yugas, because Kali Yuga is actually the shortest. So in Caturdasi ends up to only 1/10 of the total time. So not a big problem. For the demigods, maybe. But for us. So from that point of view, we could see it in that way, as a way of, that is, we can say, reality. We can say that's reality depicted in the progression of the yugas. And then, of course, we have Nishingadev's appearance here, and that story. Hey, in which kalpa did that happen? mean, we have all these different layers of time. So we have our 4 yugas going on the planet Earth, but then 1,000 of 4 yugas makes 1 day of Lord Brahma. And then of course we have the Indra look and like that, time maybe that would be more, so to say. So in case how long time ago was it this happened with Nishinadev? Okay. Krishna. Yes.
Gestern hast du versprochen, Bild von Narasimha, hast du gefunden oder?
Yesterday I promised to look for a picture of Nrisinghadev. I took it in a temple in South India, southwest, close to a town called Belgaum, close to Goa. It was painting a picture of Nrisinghadev as a child. But unfortunately I didn't find it. I don't know what happened to it, but I know I had it on my computer, but a little bit I got too many pictures. It's too easy to take photos nowadays. To get a whole. I know I didn't find it. Sorry for that. I would have liked to, because it was a cute Nrisinghadev. But we also have this Nrisinghadev, we have the different Nrisinghadevs, There's an Ugra Nrisinghadev, that's the angry Nrisinghadev. But then there's other Nrisinghadevs where it's peaceful, when it's a peaceful Nrisinghadev. So different Nrisinghadev has different features, different sides to him. And I guess this was a child Nrisinghadev. It's a child. Krishna. Okay. Any other question, comment? Good. Looks like the offering is over, or maybe not. It's over? It's over. Okay. Well, then it's time for Arctic. So, nice to see you all here in this beautiful temple. Nice little temple. Coming together, celebrating, at least this time. That's good. Many small temples doesn't make one big temple. But someone said, consultant said, spoke about Amri's course, and said, well, that's a question here. The question is how some things is going to expand. That one unit just becoming bigger and bigger, or that it like transplants and makes more. Similar units. So, well, there's been temples coming and going here. Because we hope that this can stay in a nice way. And still, many small temples makes big Krishna consciousness. Means the things add together. Okay, Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.